Hey, what's up? This is CHYLD, and you're watching In the Clouds, my brand new podcast. Today we got Ella Collier on, and we're going to talk about everything branding, her single that just came out, some new music she's got to release, and everything in between. This is Season 1, Episode 1. So what's up? How are you doing?
What's up? This is so exciting. I'm the first guest, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah, you are.
We're writing this out together. Are you nervous?
No, never nervous.
Never nervous?
Nuh-uh.
Well, I'm doing good. It's 11 a.m. here, so I've got my little black coffee.
I know, that's so weird to me. Like, it's 2 o'clock here, so I've gotten my day going, but like that would be like just the start of my day, like 11 a.m.
It's so weird. It's weird because my family lives in Atlanta, so like my family group chat's going off at like 6 a.m. my time. So then by the time I wake up and everything, it's like I don't even see the text, and they're like, "Why didn't you answer our group text?" I'm like,
yeah.
I can't see this.
And I'm not up at 6 a.m. So.
No, I mean I try. We try.
Really? I don't.
I've been trying to switch my routine to like getting up at like 8 a.m. ish, going to sleep at 12. But recently we've been in our little artist brain, so 3 a.m. has been our bedtime recently.
For sure. Yeah, I feel that. I've been trying. I can't say that. No, I'm not that good. But anyway.
You are? Bro, yourself. Never, no negative self-talk.
That's true. I'm doing better with like working out, so I can say that.
Working out is always a struggle. I feel like it's always a weird balance. Just being a human in general, it's like, damn, I have to do my laundry and keep my house clean, plus also maintain a social life and career while also maintaining my body and mental state. Like, I don't know if I can even like do that.
There's not enough time in the day.
It's hard.
It never is. So I just listened to your new single the other day.
Thank you so much.
And it kicks ass. It's so good and it's catchy. How did that? So when did that song come about? Like, when did you start writing that one?
Honestly, we wrote it a while ago. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, as I've said, and I go to USC. So my freshman year here, I decided like over the summer, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I'm going to stay in LA and just do a bunch of sessions. And I like lived with the older people and I just like grinded. And I found Il Nicky like through my old manager. And we just like, we're trying out a session. And that was 2 years ago. So we wrote the song together and everything. And it was basically a full freestyle, which is so sick. Like I posted a TikTok of that, but basically Will, who is an amazing producer, we were just working on a loop. We started with guitar, and then how we switched off, it's just like I hopped on the mic and I just freestyled all the way through, and we were like, wait, we actually kind of like that. And he freestyled all the way through, and that's kind of how we like came up with our ideas. And it was just a really easy song to write. Like we literally did one session. The song felt like a done song. And then we didn't get back in the studio together till like a year later because like, you know, everyone's just so busy and I hadn't figured out my sound yet. And I was like a little nervous about like the whole trap, like urban vibe. Like I didn't know like if all my music was going to be like that. And I didn't want to like pigeonhole myself. So I just didn't want to put it out yet. Right. So as I've like curated my sound and like figured out everything, we've had a couple more sessions to like add the details and like the breakdowns and everything that I want. And I just thought it was a perfect fourth single for my EP. And I'm just so happy about it. And Nicky is like my older brother, which is so fun.
Cool. No, that's awesome. And it sounds amazing and it's really well done. So, and you mentioned like finding your sound. And I think we talked about like it took you a pretty long time to find your sound. That can be like a tricky kind of thing, right?
I mean, I think it's like, just depends on, there's like, you understand as an artist, there's so many little tiers. So it's like, okay, it depends. Do you want to be an indie artist? Like and that's what I learned. Like, what kind of artist do I want to be? Like, what is my audience? What is my venue?
Right.
Am I playing at the Mint with my guitar? Or am I playing at Madison Square Garden, like with full dancers and like a production behind me? And like, I had to decide like which route I wanted to go. And like, I want to go Madison Square Garden route, like obviously. But
who doesn't? Yeah, same.
It's hard to like, when you're our like not caliber, but our like level where we're not like super famous yet, to try to have that whole attitude, like the famous attitude and like the brand. Right. It's really a weird balance of like not acting like you're all that and like pursuing the dream and like presenting yourself in the way that you have found your brand to be, you know? And it's just a
Right.
really weird line.
No, it's super weird. You make a good point because every time I play a show, it's like the same thing. I mean, and it always feels different in your head, like ahead of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to prep for that. And I always try to stay like humble with that stuff. But yeah,
Written sound is weird though. It's weird. Like you get it. I don't know. I
yeah,
had an issue because it was like my first type of music that's out still on Spotify. I still debate on if I should delete those or not, but I'm just kind of like, I think it's kind of cool how there's like a song for every single year leading up to now. And it like kind of shows who I am. But my old songs were like pop country. And
yeah,
like, I started doing this when I was like 11. So I started playing on my acoustic guitar. I didn't know what production was. So I just perform around my acoustic guitar and like didn't have a band or whatever. So then when I went to USC, like the whole world opened up for me just being in LA and learning about production and learning about like all the cool shit you can do. And I've always been super interested in hip hop and rap music and just like production of it essentially too, just like the fat 808s and like all that. And like a lot of the music has, a lot of pop music has turned into genre bending music
for
now.
sure. Yeah.
And that was just a huge passion for me is to genre bend. And I just wanted to have like elements of country. I wanted to have elements of pop. I wanted to have trap. I wanted to have like EDM in there. And so like my music kind of reflects that because I listen to all that kind of music and it's all my different kind of moods, which also reflects the lyrical content of my music, which
Yep.
is like up and down all the time.
Yeah, and that's super interesting because like there's definitely stuff that I want to delete on my Spotify. Like I've gotten to that point where I'm like, oh my God, like it just doesn't like match. It doesn't like look like consistent enough. Like I'm always like about that. Like
No, you don't want it to be like coming up. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I mean that's a whole other thing. I mean, but we all like change. The sound evolves. But there's definitely stuff I want to delete right now. Like it just doesn't like match.
I feel that. Are
Yeah.
you managed or do you manage yourself?
Manage myself for sure.
So yeah, I feel that. I mean, I
Right.
actually just brought my friend Jaren on as like my co-manager, which is like
That's
a
awesome.
huge decision for me because like I'm so protective of like my little baby. Like you understand, like it's
course.
like no one understands how crazy you have to be about it. And like I've had my fair share with managers who like just suck.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And
No,
like,
I've had those experiences too. I've had a couple, and like even when I had a manager, it was like I've had a couple that I like just turned away. But then when one came across, and I was like, oh, okay, that actually like is pretty cool and like not a terrible deal, and it ended up like working out okay. But it was like a kind of a temporary thing. But
managers, it just depends because like, okay, I want someone who's going to come up to me and like see the vision and see my potential and see and believe in me and want to take me and help me instead of like let me wait till she like pops off and has offers and then I'm going to go and see and fight for her. I'm like, no, I want someone who sees the potential before everyone's fighting for me. And like that's already kind of started happening and like people come out of the woodwork, all that stuff. It's weird. You have to have a very, very smart brain to navigate this industry and a very strong one.
yeah, but vibe, like you just said, like that's the whole thing. Like if if someone's on your team and you don't like, you can like try all you want, but sometimes if it's just like not like matching up, like vibe wise or like vision wise, like you said, like looking at the vision, that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would tell like any artists who are listening, trust your intuition. It's kind of the same with anything though, friends, collaborators, anything. Like I was telling my therapist this, like I get a feeling, like I get a literal like guilty, weird feeling in my stomach when something's not right.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn to really listen to that because it always ends up being right. And maybe in the opportunity and at the time you're like, no, but this person's getting me stuff. Like I'm at this session or I'm doing this. If it does not feel right or they're showing you red flags, it's only going to get worse later.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. No, it's true. Like the gut feeling is real. Like no matter what, like you can, as much as you think, you know, just listen to your gut, just like instinct, just like, the other week I had someone offer to do like a virtual concert and like we ended up talking on the phone and I talked to one of my other like music friends afterwards. I was like, yeah, like you know, do you want to like help out or whatever? But like honestly, like this guy, like he sounds like a promoter, and like, and
promoters are scary.
And if I'm thinking to myself, like, should I even do this? Like, if you're even thinking, like, if you have to think about it, then you probably shouldn't do it.
I know, it's weird. And also it's kind of, that's another thing I'd say. Don't take every opportunity that comes to you just because like you want to get exposure. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this, for example, for my EP, like I want my EP to be premiered on a publication, but it's easy to like get a publication on like a random one, but I don't want to polarize people. You know, I want to get on like a publication that has like a big audience to where I can have like 14-year-old girls, but I can also have like 30-year-old men. You know what I mean? Like I want whole demographic. And it's actually kind of weird. I don't know if the whole demographic talk, that shit's so stupid, but like
that's so funny. Like, yeah, I don't think about that a lot. And like even what's that?
I started to have to think about that.
I know, because like you mentioned before, like when you were going into your sound, how you had to think about, oh, is this music like right for this audience and all that. I never thought that. I just kind of, and maybe I thought about it a little more down like once I kind of got a little more sound. But I never thought, oh, is this the right group? Is this going to work? But you really have to like cater to your audience a little bit, but you can still like do it with your sound.
It's kind of a balance, like, because I've talked to my family about this, because like I've shown them my EP and they're like, oh, why isn't this song on it? Why isn't this song on it? Like they love a couple of the other ones. I'm like, you know, like it's cutthroat. Like I'm gonna put that on maybe my next EP or whatever I evolve to. But like, yeah, of course you have to think about your audience, but at the same time, people can totally see through an authenticity and see whenever you're just kind of marketing or like doing songs to get on TikTok or doing songs to become viral. And like, of course that works sometimes, but the kind of artist I want to be is just an extension of myself. And it's literally like who I am when you would meet me.
Yeah.
Except like the heightened version, I guess you'd say, and like the famous version. So like when I put out music, I want to make sure that I love it and like it is authentic and really paints the picture of what I'm trying to do and has a vision. And it just took so long and I'm so impatient. So I like always wanted to release. But I would also say that to artists, like, please just be patient on your releases. Like you'll know when you should release.
Patience is key. That was like a huge thing for me, like was listening to my mom tell me like to be patient. Yep. And like no matter what, because like sometimes I think to myself like and I'm sure you get it, but sometimes if you just took a little more time, if you just, when you look back, oh, if I just like waited a little bit more, like it would be it would be for the best.
Yeah, I feel that. Like even you talking about that now, I'm like, we've been trying to figure out my EP release date and it's there, like the songs are there, but just getting my visuals together now, even that, it's, I don't want to rush those. Like I did my photos, like, but I want to make sure all the edits are perfect and people don't understand all that. It's like the amount of weeks you have to put in your song and your work before it's released. It's like 3 to 4 weeks. So that means you have to have everything done before. Plus you have to have all the promo ideas. Like it's a lot more than just the music. So like, if the music's not there, you better just wait. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the effort of the photos, of the money. And being an artist is so much freaking money.
I was gonna say, like, at what point? What do you think? Like, you know, because a lot of artists, like, you know, myself and like not even at the moment, but like a lot of the work I'm doing is like self-employment work. But like a lot of people have a part-time, you know, hustle or maybe a full-time hustle. Like they're working 40 hours and doing this. And
shout out to you for doing that, guys. Like seriously, that's
yeah. One of my best buds. I mean, he's a rapper and he's great. And he actually works at a marketing agency. And
cool. He learns probably so much for his music.
I'm like, dude, that's actually kind of genius. Cause like, and he says a lot of the guys there that are working, there are also like a couple other artists and musicians and they kind of just like talk marketing and like that's what they do for their full time. So he's doing that and like grinding, making some connections, and you know what, like, you know, he's got money to finance some stuff, because that is like the trickiest part.
That is huge. So he can like fund his career and stuff. I love that. I guess for me with all like the job stuff, I try to find jobs in music. Like that's my big thing. Like
Same.
I did have jobs. I've had jobs my whole life because my parents just were really, that's the hardworking mentality. Like I never was allowed to just like sit on my ass. So like I did music, but like summer jobs, like I did stupid jobs where I'd call and ask people for money or like for fundraising, or I worked at a clothing store, like a retail shop over the summer when I made like that. I worked at LF, which is like this bougie clothing store, and like sugar daddies would come in. Worst job ever, like 12 to 16 hour days was horrible. And I would like do sessions too. So I did that, but then I've gone to a place now where like I'm in college. So like I am going to be a senior. So I have one more year to like get this shit going, right?
Yeah.
And I found a lot of money in like sync deals and like publishing. So I do my artist stuff, but I also have been focused on like writing, and I write for other people, and I do like songwriting. And then I also, this is so funny, people don't really know this about me, but there's this company called Rap Study that was started like by people in my area at USC, and you sing songs for little kids. It's like covers like Dua Lipa, like Don't Start Now, but it's like about the 50 states or whatever. And so I get money from doing that. I do like kid songs, and I like record them and sing them, and I write some of them. So that's kind of like how I try to get
That's super cool. Yeah, no, I vibe with like finding work in your, it's basically finding work in your field. Like we do music and like, yeah, it'd be nice to like do some like music related things. And like I used to work retail, and that was my whole thing, was trying to get into a position where I'm just like surrounded by music, and I was teaching music. And I still do a little bit of that. And yeah, it's like rewarding work at the same time too. And no, but I guess if you can find something that also just like two things for me, like if it kind of like keeps you inspired with the music, and for me, like hours, like you can like, I know that you can work like 40 hours and still probably find some time, but like sometimes you're just like drained. It like just takes the energy out of you. But like for me, I need something where I still have like plenty of juice and like time for my music, or like my own clients, or like my artist stuff. Yeah.
People say like you're working on music. What is your like, I don't know, routine? Like when you say you're working on music, like is it usually you're writing, or is it like making TikToks? Because no, people don't get that either. Like
right.
The day I do my social media, I do my like TikToks, I do like the analytical stuff, and then at night, that's kind of when I do like my creative like writing and doing sessions.
Yeah, I think like that's really funny because like sometimes I'll even be to my girlfriend, I'll be like, oh, I'm working or whatever, and she'll be like, oh, okay, you're busy, but I'm just like TikToking, I'm just like trying to like figure it out, like just like posting or just like hashtagging or whatever.
It's my job.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's part of it. And I remember like a while ago, I mean, it's been this for a while. If my parents see me on whatever, like social media, or even just like on the computer or anything like that, I'm like, oh, I know, like it's weird. Like I promise I'm working. Like I'm working hard. It doesn't look like I'm working, but I'm working.
People don't get that. Like 90% of it is like on the fucking laptop. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like for me, that's the craziest part of that is like Apple in general, like the computers, and like how they fucking made computers, and how like a whole new generation, or you know what I mean? Like how you just
birth.
Yeah. And it just like, that's why I do, it's probably a big reason why I even do music, is because I was able to like have access to it, which is crazy.
So you rap and produce?
I like, I don't know if I like rap, but I definitely sing, and I mainly produce.
Or sing or produce, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mainly produce. But yeah, when I'm like working on music, I'm either, I mean, it could be like you said, it could be a bunch of things. It could be like writing, like producing just like new beats from scratch. It could be new beats like for a potential.
Do you use Logic or what do you
Ableton.
use? Ableton. Okay, that's sick. So Like, do you do like EDM type stuff? I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
EDM producers use Ableton.
Yes, it definitely amped up like the production for me when I got Ableton. Um,
Oh,
but
I feel like that's the hardest. I don't like, actually, no, Pro Tools is the hardest. I hate Pro Tools.
yeah, because Pro Tools like is more for less production and more mixing and more just kind of it's like heavy on mixing. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah.
where yeah, whereas like Ableton, a lot of people see it as like it's like very loop heavy and like very electronic. But I mean, you can do the same thing in. I used to use Logic before that, and
That's, I
yeah,
have the cracked version of Logic on my computer.
like an older version.
No, like someone literally just like, I don't even remember. I went to the cafeteria like my freshman year and someone transferred it to my computer somehow.
Sick. Isn't that crazy? I was talking to someone else about like how like we did that because the Ableton I have now, my buddy me like just like the newer version because we were working on music and I was working in like Ableton 9 and his
Yeah,
projects were in like the newer one and he's like, oh shit, let me just give it to you so we can like work on this.
that's nice. No one under the cracked versions, but it sucks because then once you actually try to make like fat, fat tracks, it doesn't work because there's always like a system overload. We're getting so niche.
No, I mean like that's what it is. I mean that's like our day to day. I mean, do you do any production or is your strengths more like writing and like I mean obviously you're an amazing singer
Oh,
and
thank
you
you.
write your lyrics and have you do you mess around in Logic at all or like
Yeah, I've definitely like messed around in Logic, but
hell
I'm
yeah,
lucky that I have amazing producers that like work with me all the time. Like
for sure.
Johnny May is I call my work husband. He teaches me a little bit about it. Like I want to know about production, but I'd say like I'm mostly a songwriter, vocalist. I play guitar, I play piano. Like to
Awesome.
accompany myself, I want to say like, oh, I'm a guitarist. Like,
Yeah, right.
I know how to play and like I've had lessons like my whole life, whatever. And I could perform with them. And then with production, I just kind of started learning when I got to USC, but they make us like take production classes. That's like the good thing about this program. They make us learn or at least like experiment with every instrument, every like production, everything. So I had a Pro Tools class, I had a Logic class. So I have like one beat that I'm making right now. But I think it's fun. Like it's really fun. It's like nerdy. And I have so much fun when I'm doing it, but right now I'm kind of caught in a place where like I don't know how to make drums and then it's expensive to like buy like splice and all like the freaking presets and so I'm just kind of in that little area right now.
Yeah, I feel that. And Splice is great for like sample picking and like getting inspiration. Like if
Yeah.
I'm if I'm ever in a funk, like I'll use Splice to like grab a sample if I need new whatever drums. But like honestly, if I'm in like a funk, I'll like go through some like melodic samples and like get some inspiration going.
But
That's what that's great for. But I heard from obviously like a TikTok video. Someone
obviously.
said someone said that the best advice they ever heard was like to stop buying plugins because
Oh wow, that's good to know.
whatever I'm sure like whatever you have, even like for me, because I've bought like a shit ton of plugins, but like
Yeah.
whatever you have, basically the main point was like you can make something, you have like enough to make like music basically, or like enough to
Yeah,
make what
that's
you
so
want to make.
true. Well, I mean, when I hang around Johnny and some of the producers like Cole, who did one of my songs, Cole Mitchell, he did one of my songs on my EP, like they will create they're so fast. It's crazy. I like just being in sessions with them because they'll make their own synth in like 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
then my song, that's why I know about production. And I think that's really important. I want artists to hear this, like, especially female artists. It's really important to like know a little bit or like enough of the vocabulary of production. So when you go into a session, you know what you want. And it just makes the music so much more involved. And you know, like, instead of being like, what is that little like da da da? You can be like, okay, can you like mix the hi-hat like a little lower here? I think it's
Yes.
like pan it over here, like little things like that. It just helps the producers so much. And I remember the beginning when me and Johnny were working together, he kind of taught me like how to like talk like that and show me. And when he was producing, he would like explain things to me. So when I'd go to sessions, like I would like know. And now it's really interesting. And all my music on my EP and my releases, like you can hear like the 808s and all that. It's so fun. Like I just love. Not that sounds so dumb. You can hear the 808s, but
No,
you
I
know,
mean, but it's true. I mean, like that's what it is, right? Yeah.
I chose the pitch of those 808s and I chose that it was four on the floor in this section, and then it goes into halftime in this section. Like, you know, it's fun.
I've been in like a handful of situations where like an artist is asking me like, what is that, and like kind of like, can you just like, that's like 9 times out of 10 when I have a singer or songwriter, like they're like, oh, I just want to like learn about that so I know like the vocabulary, and like it's a language. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, let's like, I'll show you like everything I can.
Some producers don't want to, but like it's important for you to kind of know that vocabulary. But also, a big thing for me that I've learned in my process of doing sessions, like like learning how to hang in sessions is so real, and like that's a whole nother intricacy of being an artist. But I want the producer, anyone I work with, songwriter, collaborator, I don't care if it's my song, I don't care if we're going in for a pitch song, like I want them to feel like it's their song, because I don't ever want to be the artist that like goes into a session, I'm like, okay, this is my song, this is what I want, like record for me and just like be my producer. I
Right.
want it to be like, oh, like 50 like this is both of our songs, it's our partnership, because in the end the music becomes better because the producer's just as involved in it as you are, and like they take their time on it instead of just like fixing a little bounce for you and just getting it out the way because they don't even like the project. Like I'd rather have us work on it together.
Absolutely. You couldn't
People
said it
don't
any
get at
better.
that though.
No, I mean that's such a good point, and it's kind of like funny like how that stuff comes about sometimes, because like everything, even if I have just clients, if they're releasing it without my name, like I'm just producing, no matter what I do, I'm putting like my everything into it, because like even in the credits my name's going to be there, like my name's attached to it, like I'm attached to it. But like if they're like an artist in the same like genre, like whether they're paying me or not, like that's what gets tricky too, like whether it's just like a collab or if they're like asking me for like my services, like my production and stuff. Like
That sucks.
yeah, like either way though, I'm
So horrible. Like I'm like, ugh.
wait, say that again.
Like the money talk, I'm like, oh my god, because like I don't want anyone to feel like, people get weird about that in sessions. I'm such a like 50-50 girl. Like I just split everything so even. I don't give a fuck. I'm not famous.
Well, because 50-50 is so easy.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's production's so much work. Like I see my guy friends doing it, I'm just like,
yeah, but like either way, like you said, it's 50-50 whether my name's on it, whether it's whatever it is.
That's amazing. I love that. When did you like start getting into music?
I started like really diving into like the production in 20. So this was okay. So I'll say like I got more serious about it in like 2015, because that was like my first like, that was like we had like a duo. It was like my first like project. It was just like me and a girl. It was like the same thing. I mean, we were basically like collabing on music. I was the producer, she was the singer, like I do with like many singles that I release now. But we were just like, oh, why don't we just like make this a thing, like, and release a bunch of music and albums or whatever. And that went for like a few years, and we ended up going like different directions. But like ever since then, I mean, I've just like been producing like crazy, and like having, clients and stuff, and just like producing, like realizing that is like my niche. I love songwriting and I love making like hits, but that's like for the artist project, and I just love doing it all though. But
You gotta work, bro.
I try,
No, me and you, well, we gotta make something.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I mean, you already know I'm working on something. I heard like one of your TikToks, and I was like, oh shit, that would be cool if we made something like that.
Oh, thank you. Was it the sad one that I just posted? Probably.
I don't think it was that sad. Maybe it was.
Sad one last night, lol.
But yeah, I mean, like, you've got a pretty decent brand, like I would say. Like I know that it probably took a while. Like, so how long was like this project? Like, how long have you been doing this, like releasing songs under your name and all that good stuff?
I've been releasing and being like serious about music since I was like 11, which is like a minute. But I started really releasing when I was like 14. But then this project, I started working on this project. Well, like that was 2 years ago, but I didn't know it was going to be on my EP. But I started like conceptualizing this like a year ago, like at the beginning of quarantine, because I went back home to Atlanta, and honestly, going back home is like such a like step backwards for me. Like I just like don't like going home because Atlanta, I love Atlanta, but just the energy that I lived in high school was so toxic and just so judgmental and like small minded. And I kind of already like, not even to be like this, but I already like had sold out the like place that I wanted to in Atlanta, you know, like the one place, like it's called Eddie's Attic. That's where John Mayer got discovered. And I worked my way through like playing open mics and with my little guitar and then right before when I went to LA, I sold out the show. So every time I like go back, it just feels weird because like small bubble, I can go to a shopping center, see like people that just know I am, and like it's just like a lot of judgy and like just scares me. Yeah. In LA, I can wear whatever I want, like I can just go out and like the network here is different. This energy's here is different. Like my assistant here, she can come to my photo shoots. All the people who do my photos are here. Like all the musicians are here, even just networking parties, anything like that, like is all here. And I'm trying to like build my life here. So like once I started really, it kind of was like side by side. Like once I started getting to know who I really am and like tapped into my potential, like style wise, like physical clothing wise, and like just the way that I think about my life. Like I'm super spiritual. I'm super into manifestation. I'm a strong Christian. And like I do all the like journaling and like all that stuff. And it's changed my life. It completely changed my life. I got into it at the beginning of quarantine because I was just in a really shit place. I think a lot of people were, and like you're running back and forth, like all in day to day. And I really had to sit down with myself, and I got in therapy, and that kind of just like changed my mindset on everything. And as I was like improving personally, so it was like my whole brand in music, because I started to accept what I wanted to be. Like I was always too scared to like, you know, like wear Jordans and like, you know, do all this, because in Atlanta it's like cute girly, like we wear jean shorts and we wear little crop tops and like we're Southern and we're gonna go to University of Georgia and get a business degree, come back, live in Atlanta, marry rich, and then do it all over again. Like I just don't want that. I really just don't want that. And I've always, since I was little, wanted to be famous. Like I know that's like a weird thing to say, but like
I don't think so. I think a lot of us, I mean, like me included, you know, it's just a cool thing. It's like, oh, like it's also like a little bit like I could do that. Like what the hell?
Famous is like just easier to say than like I want to be a successful musician who does this.
Yes,
and this.
Because success is like so different. Like success is different.
It's so like, what's the word? You know what I'm talking about? Ambiguous. It's like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like it could mean anything for anyone. So, but anyways, back to the getting to my brand. So like, yeah, I always had this in me and just couldn't really explore it. Like, cause I went to a private school, like I was just insecure or whatever. So then when I finally come to LA and I can be myself, I just started, bro. I had some shit ass managers who helped me like rebrand, but they helped in me like kind of going towards that lane. So then I started learning. And then once I stopped with those managers like 2 years ago, I started kind of going on that path. So I go home. I basically decide I need to release music. I started planning my whole entire project. And I started by making Pinterest boards. It's weird. Like that's how I made my vision. I would go through my whole catalog. I'd pick my favorite songs I think represented me as an artist. And I'd make a Pinterest board for the song, what I wanted it to look like, what it made me feel. My friend Kyle Lux, if you know him, he's like kind of popping off right now. He is kind of like an R&B, like indie, like cool boy artist. And he is so good. And he did kind of the same thing when he was staying over here over the summer. He locked himself in his apartment and like you walked in, it looks like a crazy person fucking lived there, but it was crazy. He had like pictures that he'd drawn for each like song, like pasted up on his walls, coming up with the ideas, because like when you're actually in it, like we want to be artists. We want to be like big. We want to be moguls. So you have to have your hand in every single thing you do. So after I started making like my Pinterest boards and all that, it's just finding people who can like support your vision. And it's really hard. So like I just started with Johnny May. Like Johnny May and I just started with the music. I had no visuals. I had no idea. And as I was doing that, I just started becoming more confident on Instagram and like doing all that. And then I came up with this idea to like take disposables, because my whole mentality of like my brand is like, we're best friends. Like I'm the best friend that takes you out of bed and we take a tequila shot and we go out, but I'm also the best friend that like makes us drink tea and be spiritual and go on walks, and you hear that in my music. And that's kind of like what I want people to think. Like, I don't have fans, I have friends. I'm going to talk to every single person who responds to my DMs or like responds to my stories or likes my music, because they don't have to like me. And so the fact that they are so supportive, I want them to feel like that. Sorry, I'm fucking ranting because this shit makes me so happy.
Not at all. No, you made a couple good points. I mean, like your vibe of being the best friend is there. That's what I got from that. I mean, like,
yes, what did you think when you saw me?
One of my close friends, Brian, sent me your song because he works at the record label that I was with.
Oh, sick! What record label?
Tommy Boy Records.
Oh, cool, sick.
So I don't know. Yeah, like, so he sent me. I mean, he'll do this like on. It's like if it's a Friday, people are releasing music. He'll send me, be like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. He sent me Crush.
Oh, Crush.
Yeah, and yeah, and I mean, I got like definitely like, I hate saying like pop, but like
pop. So pop. I love pop.
There you go. So it's like pop, indie pop, but like that best friend vibe comes from you just being like posting those TikToks and like posting your own self and like your personality and this is who I am and like connect with me and I'm pretty sure I even saw you say was that?
Hold on, keep going. I have to show you something.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure like one of your things said like you're my best friend, like let's just connect or whatever, like on one of your TikToks or something.
I made United Masters like change like what it said because it was like whoa, 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 no. And I was like, no, we need to change what this says. Like, I'm sorry, but okay, listen to this. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? I hadn't loved this, but sometimes when you have managers, like they're like older, so like I try to work with people who are like my age because they get our generation.
No,
when I was younger, I had managers who were like in the industry, but like they're like 40 to 60 years old.
Yeah.
So they like don't really understand social media. And I swear to God, this was crazy. Back in the day, they had a Google Doc for me. And like of what I needed to post every day, I had to post like 3 stories a day, like 1 singing video a day, like da-da-da-da.
Wow.
And my brand was completely different. It came across very like, I'm looking at my archive so you can see what I used to be like. But like this vibe. Like I used to be like cute, like curly hair, like
wow.
The guitar, like that type shit.
Yeah.
And like then I'd even post like USC stuff like that. But like even as I started learning about branding, I had to stop posting like as a student, you know what I mean? Like at USC because like I do a little bit of that, but like I'm not like the college frat girl vibe. And like a lot of people were telling me like that's what you come across like on Instagram, and it's because I didn't know my brand. I was just a smiley, cute girl. Plus, I have a family, and my family is like very conservative. We've worked through this, okay?
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. But like, my family is so supportive, and I love them. But my parents are like 60 years old. Like, they grew up in Virginia. We lived in the South. Like, me showing skin, me saying bitch, me saying any bad words in my music or in interviews, even like. That freaks them out because like I represent our family and like I totally get that. And of course, if you want a brand deal and you want to be respected as a woman, like you're not going to be like trash, but having the balance of being my authentic self and saying that I am a stoner, like I smoke weed and like I'm okay with that. And like those kind of things, we had to like get through some of the like little things that maybe they wouldn't completely agree with, but I'm 21, like I'm an adult now and I'm a businesswoman and they trust me enough because they see how hard I work and they know that it's a brand. That we've definitely had some balance with that. But like I posted a picture, and this is like random shit. Like my song Cinderella comes out. I plan for Cinderella to come out around Halloween because Cinderella and also Cinderella. My name's Ella. Like I had a whole branding plan.
It's meant to be.
I picked out my Halloween outfit to be like this sexy Cinderella outfit because I was like, I can't keep posting photo shoot pictures on Instagram. I'll post like a casual Instagram in my like outfit. Like I planned all this. And my parents were like so mad at the photo, bro. And they were trying to make me delete it. I fought them, bro. I was like, I have to keep this up. This was a plan for my Instagram. Because you can see here, I planned all this shit. So like I did a bunch of disposables. I did 3 like crowns.
Right.
And then these were the promos. So there was like 3 photos, and I was like, I can't keep posting promos. So then I posted this. This was like my Halloween photo. They were mad at this because my freaking boobs are in it, right?
Yeah.
But it got so many likes, so much engagement, and I was like, fuck you guys. Like, I have to keep this up. Like, I need to. This is for my brand. Like, come on. Like, I've sent them an email, like, my demographics, because they're like, you have little girls who are your fans. And then I go pull up my demographics. My demographic is people our age. My main demographic is literally like 18 to 30-year-olds.
Yep. I think it's the same just about for me. It's just people our age. It's
a lot. Like, you have to find out. Like, that's what I'd say my advice to artists for finding their brand and like what they want to do. What are your boundaries? Like, one of my boundaries is you can know that I smoke weed, but you're never going to see me smoking weed on camera. Like, I'm never going to be on, oh my God, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. I was at a session like last week with Il Nicky, and I did like, Il Nicky's like the one who's featured on my song.
For sure.
And they're like 30s, and I'm like a 21-year-old girl. And like, I'm in this session, and like most girls would be, that's so scary. They're like nice, don't worry. Like, they're not mean, like industry guys.
No, yeah.
Nicky and like all his rapper friends are in there, and like producers and like some big names, whatever. These are all like men. And I pull up in my little like leather like corset thing, and I'm just like there for the interview, and I'm like, hey guys. And I pull out like this fat J that's like 30% THC, and I'm like holding my own with them, like smoking with them or whatever. And like, then I can go to the interview, and it's like kind of fun to be able to like hold my own and like be this little girl, and then have them be like, wow, okay, she can smoke. She's a businesswoman, and she's cute, and like still has divine feminine energy. Like, what? Like, I had to work on that. But when I'm on live like in the session, and like they try to pass me a joint, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm on live. And once I got off, we were talking like, yo, you know, if you like hide that you smoke from your fans, it's gonna be worse when they find out. And I was like, oh no, like I explicitly say in my songs like that I do, and people know, but like I'm never gonna be like, like if I'm trying to get sponsored by Dunkin', by Sprite, by any of these things, like they want to see a clean and cut girl. So whenever the mom goes to the grocery store, you're a role model. Right. You know what I mean? So
which who knows? You might get that Dunkin' sponsor. I don't know.
I really want it, bro. I've been manifesting that. I swear. By the end of 2021. Dunkin'.
That'd be sick. It's like every day, huh?
Well, the reason why it started is because of quarantine, you know, like literally because, you know, whenever you're like alone at home and the only thing to do is drive to get coffee. I'm like, that's the highlight of the day. It's like
just getting out. Yeah.
Coffee. So I started doing that in Atlanta, and then that was like the main. And then I just started doing like Dunkin' reviews on my Snapchat. They used to be way worse, like way more explicit because it's just my friends. And I would just talk about random shit. Like, I just hooked up with this dude last night. Like, no. So then I started moving it over to TikTok. So people could start getting to know my personality more. But like, it means a lot that you said that. People know my personality from social media because it took a while. You saw that. Like, that looked fake. Like my old stuff, I'm like, hey guys, like, do you like my song? Like, go check out my song. It doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work if you're like that. You have to be like, yo guys, like, worked super hard on this song. Like, please, love you. Come on.
I think for me, it just like clicked one day. I was like, it's scary, but I just have to be me. And it's a little scary.
It was harder for me to do it in high school. Yeah. And like school, because you'd have to go to school every day. Like, you'd have to go and see the people. And now I'm in music school, and like everyone's so supportive. No one, like, everyone understands. But I had just mean people. Like, people were so mean when I was little. Like, one of my songs called Talk. It's not gonna be on the EP, but it's like a recent single I released like last year. It's about kind of that. Like, one time, like, I was posting, I was doing this music grind since I was like 11 or 12. My parents have always been so supportive, but I've been like really trying to do this like since I was 12. Hell yeah. And I post like the same kind of how I post now. And I had a girl call me who was like my best friend. And she called me and had an intervention with me and was like, you need to stop posting about your music. Like, people think you're too cocky. Like, you need to stop doing this. I never got let into my a cappella group in high school until I was a senior, because they like said that I was too cocky about my music and like I couldn't blend. And it was all based on jealousy, because like my parents really taught me not to talk about myself like that. And like, even talking in interviews like this, I'm like, sorry, I'm talking so much about myself. It like feels weird. Because,
no, it's so important though. Like that's what I've learned too, is like, I gotta stop being so shy. I just gotta show you who I am. I gotta just like, cause you're never gonna know. I want you to know, like, this is who I am. And I'm like, I'm so much better than just that quiet kid in the corner, you know?
you're the quiet kid in the corner. That's why you switch to music. You know what I mean? Like a lot of musicians, especially producers, they're quiet at first because that's where they go channel their energy. And then once they can realize they can untap their potential, because usually the creative energy is like a new character inside their brain.
Right.
If you actually tap into that, that's cool. But most people are so scared. It's similar to like spirituality and all that shit. Like the people who live into the day to day and just care about like if someone texted them back or like the next party or whatever, like I can't even imagine how unfulfilling that life is.
Yeah.
You know, like what I focus on is like the bigger picture. And I'm just so thankful that I can even have the opportunity to be in Los Angeles, you know, like that was like my dream place to be. So the fact that I have a place in Los Angeles and I'm doing music, I couldn't get better than that. And if my personal life's fucked or if something's bad any other way, it'll work out. You know what I mean?
Sorry, my phone rang.
Because you famous, bro.
Well, so you made like so many good points right there. I'm just trying to think of like which are the ones. So like, so first of all, yeah, I mean, like I think of like you said, like progress. I think of my progress, like I'm like nowhere where I was like last year. Like last year, if you told me like, oh, you've got a song with this person, like you're doing this, and like I've been like, really, shit, that's I wouldn't have believed it. So that's crazy, and about like the production and like being the quiet kid, I remember being in high school and like being in typewriting class or whatever the fuck. Like you would just have to like, it was just like quiet. It was just like you walked in, it was just like you just open your laptop, go to the website or whatever and do your typing exercises or some bullshit. Yeah. I would open up Logic Pro, put my headphones on and work on fucking music. Cause no one could see it. And I was like over there and I was like, and the people next to me, what's that?
That's such an artist story. You'll tell that one day.
Yeah. And I never tell that story either. I never.
Right.
Yeah. The kids next to me.
I love that. It's kind of weird. Also, the best part about this whole thing is the fact that all common people listen to music, and it's like the main part of everyone's lives. But whenever they meet someone who tries to do it, that's another thing. People like to diminish musicians and like, oh, you do music, like until you're famous, like, and then they all come back out of the woodwork. I've actually even noticed that, like with my release.
Yeah.
I just had.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really expect it to go. Like, I mean, you know how releases are. I hate numbers. I hate looking at all that. But as like my own manager or whatever, you obviously have to look at that. Right. And when I'm pitching to Spotify, you have to kind of like set it up in a way that like shows your growth and like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And when this release was coming out, I was like, I just have a weird feeling about this. Like, I just think it's going to go really well, but I don't have any expectations. It's just done a lot better than I thought it would. And I've realized like the less worry you have about it, the better it works if you're just prepared enough. Also finding someone that helps you, like Jaren, who is my co-manager now. I just met her. She was like one of my friends and she was just very helpful. And she started as my assistant and then just like really, really was so great. And we were just in the car. This is how we figured out she's my manager. She just got to LA from Atlanta. She came to like a couple of my things. And then we were just at one of my shows, like on Saturday, we did like a live stream and we're just driving back. We're driving back to my house to set up for my release party. Because I had a show and then I had a fat fucking release party, bro. It was so fun. And we're driving back. She's like, I love you. I'm just so proud of you. She's like, I don't know how to ask this. Like, I'm meaning to ask. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we kind of do manager shit. She's like, would you be down like for me to manage you? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't want to ask you because I didn't want to put too much on your plate. Like, but I love that. And it was just so organic and like nice. And that's kind of how I've always wanted instead of like a forced like Instagram DM.
Mm-hmm. Like a forced DM or like a forced phone call. Like I love that. It just came out of nowhere and it was like, oh my God, yeah, like it makes sense. It's perfect.
And she's like someone who's starting with me, you know what I mean? Like I want someone like a lot of my that's the best part about being at USC. Like my girlfriends are ballers, bro. Like my best friend Liza works at like Electra and is now an A&R at Pulse, which is like crazy. Yeah. And she was a pop major. She's just like a piano major and figured out how to like network her way through Instagram to somehow now like be like interning at all these places and now an actual A&R at some of the places. And that kind of happened with my manager too. Like she's starting her internship as a A&R at RCA like this summer. And it's literally just from working. Like you can tell the people who have like the energy that like will get them to successful. And I know I'm ranting, but I told my mom this too. Like I surround myself with people who are like way better than me. Not even way better than me in how you think, but like, you know, you see how I am. Like
exactly.
I'm chaotic. I need someone who can hold my shit
Yeah.
while I've been running around and being crazy and keep me online and make sure that I'm not like making a fool of myself, right?
Yeah.
And the people I really surround myself, like Johnny May, for example, hardest worker ever, like doesn't not super into the whole party scene, like kind of a nerd, like in the best way, like because he works so hard, he makes me so much better.
Yeah.
And kind of with Jaren, like Jaren is my manager and she's like super straight laced, like very hard worker, like not a huge partier either. Like my best friend Sophia, like kind of keeps me like I call her my mom. Like all my people that I keep around me are just gonna be successful. Like I just know that. And I don't really surround myself with people who like don't have the same like drive because it just brings down my energy.
It's so key. That's so huge having like the right people around you. Like not even it's such a bonus actually to like have those people that like you get those great like successful like and like those vibes, like the great energy, but just really like trustworthy people and keep those people around as long as you can, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, but as we kind of wrap this up, tell us when the EP drops. Tell us like as much as you can about it.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, I would say that the EP is going to drop on May 28th. It was supposed to be May 21st. You know how it goes. But yeah, we're aiming for May 28th. I'm honestly waiting on visuals right now. So like
Feel
if
that.
I get like I'm not even joking. I'm supposed to submit by like Thursday or Friday. It's Tuesday. If I get the visuals by Wednesday-ish, then it'll be 28th. If not, it'll probably end up being like 21st. But I will keep you updated on that.
Cool. That's cool.
The EP is called Mood Swings, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm trying to find out the best way to kind of get the message out, trying to find premieres or anything, because each song, based on the release, is kind of like getting the layer of the onion into who I am. So like my song Cinderella, which is already out, starts off, that's like the first perception you're going to have of me. And that's why it's called Cinderella, because Cinderella isn't real.
Awesome.
And you see me like at a club and like, it's like the allure. And like, I kind of come across as like a girl who can take it or leave it with guys, which is not true at all. But that's kind of how like that song kind of perceives me. It's like the confident side. Then I release Chaos, which is like the other side of that, which is my chaotic energy, like my like go for the gold. Like it's a manifestation kind of song. Like I say like most likely famous in it, but they don't know who I am or what I'm not. Like I talk a lot about like my dream of being famous and just like my drive and energy. I'd call that my theme song. That's the second song. And then we had Crush, which is completely different. And everyone's like, what the hell? But that's kind of like my cutesy, like initial, like, oh my God, like I like this guy. And then like that comes out and that's kind of the same thing, but it's the other side. It's the dichotomy of the first date. So there's the first date, like butterflies, but then there's the dichotomy of me being a bad bitch and being like, wait, like, you don't know me like this. I'm not going to put up with like this whole, like, oh, we're in the talking phase, me. Mm-hmm. So that's they kind of all complement each other. And then I have two other songs on the EP. One is called Hey, I Love My Life. I'm so excited for that one. That song is so different than anything I've ever made. It's
awesome.
I can't even explain it. I'm just so excited for you guys to hear it. It was at the beginning of my stoner phase and like I hadn't really written music like high or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And I just like wrote this song and I was like, I can't tell if this is good or not because it's kind of just about like all the drama, all the LA stuff. And it's like a sarcastic dig.
Yeah.
The hook is, hey, I love my life. But I do love my life. It's like a laughing. It's like when all this bullshit happens to you and you sit back and you just laugh and you're just like, damn, like I love my life. Like this is crazy.
That's awesome.
So I played that song and I called Johnny and I'm like, hey, I just wrote this song. Like, I can't tell if it's good because I'm high. Like, do you want to hear it? He's like, I'll just come over. He comes over. I play him the song. He's like, we have to. We must make that song. And we came up with the whole concept of mood swings. He was sitting on my floor in my bedroom. And he was like, honestly, Ella, like, I know like all your songs are a little different on the EP and maybe like play in different genres and subject matters, but it kind of works with who you are as a person because you are very mood swingy and emotional that it kind of works. So that's how we came up with the idea. And then the last song on the EP is called Love You. And that's like the most, and the reason why I like, hey, I love my life is it's not about boys. It's like kind of just about my like mindset when I like go into the day-to-day of shit. Mm-hmm. Then I have a song called Love You. That song is like so personal. And I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous to put that one out. It's about like literally the love of my life. And he hasn't even heard it yet. And I don't want him to hear it until like the EP's out.
Oh.
Just because it's a sad song, lol. you'll hear. But I'm really
Cool.
excited for that song too.
I'm pumped. I'm fucking
Thank you.
pumped. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, and I totally get the like the last minute visuals. My girlfriend can vouch for, like, I'll show her like everything as I get it in, like visuals and stuff, and like the last single, like, stuff was like pretty last minute. I was like, I guess I'll just go with that, and like it's just like a couple weeks before or whatever. But that's like the other thing too, is like the timing. Like, timing is everything. First of all, that's like my go-to. Timing is everything. Like the way my last single worked out, like from the way it happened to like when I wanted it to like be released. But I also believe in like the way you're doing the EP, which is like very like conceptual, like it's a whole mood swing and it's kind of like very reflective. But when do you think, like, if you had to give advice, like for, you know, just artists just starting out, like when's the right time to do that EP? Because I'm just starting to do my EP as well. And like, you know, I was on that singles grind, you know, just like doing a bunch of collabs and singles. But like, when do you think, like, do you must feel like this is like the right time, like with everything, to like do the EP, like a collective group of songs? Like, is there like a right time, or like you said before, like it's just kind of gut feeling, kind of, you know what I mean?
It just all worked out. Like, I just knew I wasn't going to be ready before. Like, it didn't feel, I mean, I kind of did it. Like, I had released a couple singles, but they just weren't really like under the idea brand that I wanted, you know?
Right.
Like, now it just works. And I know, like, even if this EP doesn't like pop off, but obviously, like, I don't know, something in my spirit and soul is saying that it's going to be really okay. But, like, I just know that I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But like, if this EP isn't really like the one that makes me pop off, I don't really care, because when A&Rs or when people or fans go and look at who I am, they'll get a huge idea of who I am. The music will always be there. Plus, I'm following up with another EP like literally right after that in the fall.
Beautiful.
That's kind of the sister EP of it. That's why I end the last EP with one of my most vulnerable songs, because Mood Swings, that first EP, is summer, fun, pop, ooh, you're getting to know me. The second EP is like the deeper side and like the like actual like intricacies of my relationship. It goes through like my eating disorder, like all that shit.
Wow,
so once people get to know me, they get to go into all that. So it's kind of like I have a whole plan for like 2 EPs, and then once that's done, then I'll probably have more of an idea of what I want to do, because things will start happening. And I have like little phases. Like I know like this summer is just gonna be session summer. Like I'm just gonna be in there doing sessions, whether that's writing for other people, whether that's for my stuff. I'll decide. Like anytime I go into a session, I never go in like this is gonna be my artist song or this is gonna be my writer song. I just go in and make it, and I see which one fits the mold. Okay, well, hi. My socials are Ella Collier. Literally just look at my name. EllaCollier. Twitter has an underspace in between my name, but just look at my name. You'll find me. We'll become best friends. Follow me. Tell me that you found me from this podcast, and let's talk. I would love to talk music industry with you, and I'm always here to support music.